Thank you for coming here. My name's Alex Caputo-Pearl. I'm the president of United Teachers Los Angeles, LAUSD parent, and a 22-year teacher in South LA. I'm going to make a few comments, and then I'm going to turn it over to Alex Orozco, who is the UTLA treasurer and longtime teacher himself, and also LAUSD parent. I'm joined here today by members of our officer team, members of community groups, parents, and others within Reclaim Our Schools Los Angeles. So today, we got a court ruling. We learned that the temporary restraining order that Austin Beutner had tried to put against our potential strike was denied. This is a 3 strikes you're out moment for Austin Beutner, who attempted to actually bring 3 injunctions against our right to legally strike, and all 3 of them now have either been dismissed or denied. So we are ready to strike on Monday if we have to, Monday, January 14th. If there is not very substantial movement that invests in our students and in our schools, we will be striking on Monday, January 14th. There's many things that tell us over and over again that we are ready. Our members are ready. We're hearing every day across the city of our members' passion to fight for what's right, to fight for educational justice, to fight for what students need and what schools need. Every day there's more and more parent actions and events, an action from Venice High School to Woodland Hills. On a daily basis, you're seeing new actions from parents in support of our proposals and demands for lower class sizes, more nurses, more counselors, accountability for charter schools, all of our demands. But there's more that shows us that we're ready. You all already know that Bernie Sanders has come out in support of UTLA and Reclaim Our Schools LA and this movement. You probably know that David Arquette and others in Hollywood have come out in support. And yesterday we learned that Melissa Etheridge has come out in support of educators in Los Angeles and the demands that we have. And there's more that shows us that we're ready. Today was a National Red for Ed Day, where red shirts were worn across the country by teachers expressing their solidarity with UTLA and our struggle to fully fund our schools. From New York to Illinois to Georgia to New Mexico to Washington to Oregon, we've been receiving photographs all day from teachers, parents, and others in other cities and other states expressing solidarity with our movement. And there's even more than that. Tomorrow will be a Red for Ed Day in the state of California. So from Oakland to San Diego to Anaheim to Richmond to San Jose, educators will be wearing red in support of our demands and in support of our movement to fund our schools rather than privatize them, to support our students rather than leave some out to dry. And there's even more than that. Tomorrow, across the street at the RFK Education Complex at 2:30, there will be a civil rights press conference of iconic civil rights leaders like Reverend James Lawson, famous for his work with Martin Luther King and in the civil rights movement, and Dolores Huerta, famous for her work with the United Farm Workers, coming together with Reclaim Our Schools LA to express their support for our demands and our movement. We are ready. Is that right?
Right.
Yes. Now, Austin Beutner apparently is not ready. Austin Beutner skipped bargaining yesterday. We know that he was in Sacramento, and we spend a lot of time in Sacramento. Over the years, we've spent a lot of time there. But we don't go to Sacramento when we have a high-stakes bargaining to attend to, and that's what Austin Beutner did yesterday. Austin Beutner was on KCRW yesterday, and when he was asked whether he knew how California ranked in comparison to the other states, he said he didn't know. The LAUSD superintendent should know that. We know and have studied deeply that we're at 43rd out of 50 among the states in per pupil spending in California, and it's got to change. He went on further to say on KCRW and in his press statement that his visit to Sacramento yesterday was the first step in attempting to get more money from the state. What hubris. What incredible disrespect to the decades of work that people, some of whom are behind me and many of whom are not, who have put the work in to, for example, finally, after over a decade of work, qualify for the 2020 ballot, the Schools and Communities First initiative that would bring $5 billion to public education by closing the corporate loophole in Proposition 13. How dare Austin Beutner think that his flight up to Sacramento yesterday was the first step in dealing with state funding? There's a movement to correct the state funding inequity here in California, and we need Austin Beutner to be a part of it and not claim that he's leading it when he goes up to Sacramento for one day. Austin Beutner on KCRW, and I want to speak directly to parents on this. Austin Beutner on KCRW yesterday was asked, will there be penalties against students who do not attend school during a strike? He said he didn't know, and he would get back to people about that. That is inexcusable for a superintendent who has waged a campaign against educator rights, parents' rights, and students' rights to say that he doesn't know whether there will be retaliation. He is trying to sow fear and chaos and confusion among families. Let us be very clear. If there is any attempt to retaliate against a student that is absent during a strike, either because they want to support that strike and they feel that's the way they want to do it, or for other reasons, if there is any retaliation against students or parents or families, we will be 100% at the back of those folks fighting to make sure that that retaliation doesn't stand.
That's right.
It is what Austin Beutner did not say, and what is clear in every law that you look at, including the California Education Code, is that students cannot be retaliated against for this type of activity if they were to choose not to be in school. Now, to be clear, we've been clear throughout. We know that families and parents are going to make their own decisions. Some parents will have their children go to school. Other parents will have their children stay home. We respect the decision of those families, whatever decision it is. And we'll stand with families for their rights, and what we're asking from families and what we've got a huge commitment for from families is to walk the picket lines with us if we have to strike. In the morning and in the afternoon, the most important thing, whatever your student does, whether they go to school that day or not, the most important thing they can do is walk that picket line and show support for this movement for low class sizes, more nurses, counselors, school psychologists, charter accountability, etc. Now, there's a third thing that makes clear that Austin Beutner isn't ready for this moment. Banners went up at hundreds of schools across the city today, and stickers were handed out at hundreds of schools to students across the city today as part of the campaign to ignore this action that teachers may have to take, saying, stay in school, keep coming to school, etc. Fine. If the school district thinks it's part of their job to say come to school no matter what, that's fine. We don't have a beef with that. But to spend that amount of money at this point on a bunch of banners and a bunch of stickers in what essentially is a political campaign with public taxpayer dollars is inexcusable.
That's right.
Now, in terms of tomorrow's bargaining, we will go into that bargaining the way we've gone into each bargaining session, with an open mind, looking for an agreement if we can get an agreement. I will remind you that we've asked the district to give us a proposal. We gave them a proposal on Monday. We've asked them to give a proposal back. We will see what they do with that. We have also asked them to inform us about 3 crucial policy areas that affects the education of every student in this school district and affects every bargain with unions and parents in this school district. And those three topics are: where are you, LAUSD, on implementing the motion to invest in community schools?
Yes.
Reclaim Our Schools LA has been working tirelessly to build the community schools model.
Yes.
We want to know where the district is in that process. Number two, where are you, LAUSD, in the motion after motion after motion that were passed at the school board to increase enrollment and make sure that charter schools are not hemorrhaging enrollment in the school district? Where are we in that? In creating model schools to attract families, and in our opinion, putting a cap on charter school growth. When you don't need new schools and you need to invest in existing schools, that's the answer. So that's our second question. Where are we on increasing enrollment? And our third question is, we want to know what this Reimagine LAUSD plan is that Austin Beutner has been so vague about, so vague that it reminds us of how vague John Daisy was with the iPads. We want to know what that plan is, what consultants he's working with, and is it really a portfolio model plan that turns the school district over to the privatizers as we think that it is. We go in with an open mind. We want information, and we will see what happens tomorrow. A couple of things on rumor patrol. Number one, the LA County put out a statement saying that they were bringing financial experts in to help LAUSD. Two issues. Number one, LA County doesn't at this moment have the greatest amount of credibility in talking about finances. First of all, a speech written by LA County representatives given to the school district a couple of months ago talking about how bad LAUSD finances were. That speech was written by LAUSD officials. Okay? So LA County is not coming in with an independent view. Sorry, we knocked that off.
It's okay.
So LA County is not coming in with an independent view. The second thing that's important to understand is that LA County came in to LAUSD in 2015 during our contract negotiations and stated that the district was broke, there was no money. And then lo and behold, almost $500 million was found by LAUSD to fund things that actually helped classrooms that we won in that process. So LA County does not come in with a lot of credibility, and frankly, this is not the process towards receivership or anything like that. Having experts come in, frankly, is something that LAUSD probably does need. I'm not sure they should be from LA County, but experts, that's advice. That's not receivership. So don't believe the rumors about that. I'll remind you that on Wednesday at bargaining, we put his own documents in front of the LAUSD Chief Financial Officer, Scott Price, that show that from 2013 to this year, there has never been a deficit in LAUSD. And we asked him, is there a deficit in LAUSD? And he refused to respond, even though their public talking points are that there is a deficit. So that's rumor number one. Rumor number two that we want to clear up. We've heard some rumors about teachers, educators, actually trying to intimidate other educators to make sure that they go on strike. These are rumors. We have no verification that anything like this has happened. That said, of course, if it has happened, we don't condone that. We don't condone intimidation, threats, anything like that. But I can assure you that our members don't need their arms twisted at this point to fight. This is a fight that folks have been involved in, and if we have to strike, are looking forward to taking it to that kind of battle for the future of public education and the future of our kids in Los Angeles. Speaking of intimidation and threats, and this is to our members who are watching on Facebook, UTLA members. Speaking of intimidation and threats, the district has spread all sorts of rumors about substitute teachers, temporary contract teachers, etc., not being able to strike. It's false. It is patently false. Every educator who is employed by LAUSD and is part of our bargaining unit in UTLA has the right to strike. And we will defend that. You are protected by law, and you are protected by 34,000 other people who you will be with if we have to strike. So don't believe that hype. And the final thing is we are building with parents and community, and we are so excited about that. You can get constant updates on everything with this campaign through wearepublicschools.org. Please refer parents, community, educators, everyone to wearepublicschools.org for consistent information. There's a new blog that we've put up on that website called Strike Watch that has multiple languages and that answers questions that people have. So this is a crisis moment, but it is also a moment to build and come out stronger. We take our connection to parents and community so seriously that we want that website, our constant communication, that blog, etc., to build that. And finally, on this Saturday at 1 p.m., and you can get this information at wearepublicschools.org, this Saturday at 1 p.m., that I believe is January 12th, we will have a teletown hall across the city with hundreds of parents. You can just call in, you can sign up at wearepublicschools.org, and we will do a teletown hall with folks from all over the city who want to know more about the issues or have questions. So I'm going to turn it over to Alex Orozco to hit a couple of these points in Spanish, and then we'll take a couple of questions.
We're on deadline. Can we just ask